I just need you to listen to me. Please!
I'm not really sure we have any other choice.
I was framed because I know the truth. The truth about a plot. A massive deception.
By who?
Well, there's a sinister plot in the works against the Jedi. I have proof of it. I can prove that everything that I know is true beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Show me the evidence.
The evidence is in here. It's in here. It's in all of us. Every clone.
What is it?
Organic chips built into our genetic code to make us do whatever someone wants. Even kill the Jedi. It's all in here.
Let's just get you some help first. Then we can review everything. It'll be okay, Fives. We'll sort this out.
You don't believe me!
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Should I have?
It's a ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Kessel Run Weekly. My name is Danny.
And I'm Kristen.
And today, in light of our main topic, we're talking conspiracies, rumors.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Are you ready, Kristen?
I'm ready.
So, our first rumor, again, let me emphasize, rumor. Nothing confirmed.
We
yes.
have no way of knowing whether this is true or not. And we will not know until it's confirmed.
'Tis normally how things work. So, yeah, right. So, our first rumor is that episode 9 will be split into a part 1 and part 2. Kristen, thoughts?
I mean, I ain't mad. I don't really care one way or another. I guess that, because right now I don't know if it's confirmed or rumored, obviously at this point, but I know episode 9 is supposed to release in December of 2019.
Confirmed.
Okay. I like the way you did that. So, I mean, I guess if it was 2 parts, I guess my thing is, would we get the second part in 2020?
See, that's what I don't know. So I think the whole thing spawns out of kind of like how with the Hobbit, with Harry Potter, where they split the last movie into 2 instead of just 1. Well,
even Twilight
That Twilight was the one I was thinking about, not the Hobbit. Twilight, yeah, Twilight, and I can't believe I mixed those up. I am so sorry. Twilight and Harry Potter, they did that with their ending things and everything. The difference being, though, is that those are already like done works. Like the books are already out, or these are adaptations, I think is the word I'm looking for. And so I don't know. I'm not for it, but I would rather it be like, go ahead and just make it episode 10. Like, don't part 1 and 2 one episode. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess you're right, because there hasn't been anything like this in the history of Star Wars movies. Like, there's not like this Star Wars, the first movie came out, and it was like, Star Wars Part 1, Part 2. You know what I mean? Like, they just went on from there. So, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think they should leave it at an even number. Well, not leave it, but you know what I mean? Like, if they're going to do
just go ahead
Part
and make
1,
the
2,
saga
make it 10, and just 2.
I think that would be really cool. Even though they have said that 9 is the end, George Lucas also said that Return of the Jedi was the end, and that Revenge of the Sith was the end. So, Star Wars has a way of, coming back from the dead.
It's a miracle.
So it's like, I mean, we wouldn't be mad nor disappointed, I feel like. So, I don't know. I guess it just depends on if it's going to be a part 1, or you're not even going to say part 1, but you know what I mean? Like, if it's going to be like a 2-part still, even if they try to do 9 and 10, I guess it just depends on how 9 would go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I think the rumor kind of spawns out of how, and I'm part of that group where I have no idea how they're going to wrap up, like, that story, Because The Last Jedi, even though I've said I enjoyed it, and I realized that we lost some listeners when I said that. But even though I enjoyed The Last Jedi, I don't feel like I was feel like I was given kind of really any direction of where the story was going, other than that now we're refugees. That's pretty much it. So I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to say one way or another right now, honestly. So, I mean, the only thing that kind of gets me is, we're getting Clone Wars back, and that's going to happen next year, right?
Yes, probably towards the end of next year is what they're rumored with the Disney streaming service.
Probably like fall, winter-ish?
Probably more so, yeah, probably late fall, something like that.
Okay. And then when do we get Favreau's?
We don't know yet.
Oh.
Actually, I take that back. That'll be with the Disney streaming service as well, if it's available at launch. So that would be the stipulation. So there's nothing saying that it will be available at the time of the app launching. I would hope so. But, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's my only thing. I know neither one of these are technically going to tie in. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what kind of... I mean, because you can always go back and watch other shows, with Star Wars, like Rebels and Clone Wars, and, there's always something you can find or see that leads back to the movie in some form or fashion, and you're like, oh, well, that makes sense.
It's more connected than the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Oh.
That was rude. Don't hate. I mean, don't throw that out there. You just stay over there. But I guess the only thing is I'm hoping we won't end up seeing something that we that will like spoil anything, I guess. If they decide to do like a 9 and 10 or 1 and 2.
I mean, I would totally be down with them doing a 10.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be my stipulation, is if you're going to do a part 1 and 2, go ahead and make it 9 and 10.
Right.
Like, stay with what's been going on for over 40 years. Don't deviate. Like, just go ahead and just do it. But yeah. So I think that's more rumor than anything, for sure.
Right.
So cool. So you had mentioned actually Jon Favreau's series.
Right.
Which I think is a good segue into our next rumor. Do you want to introduce that?
It sure is. So, we got a couple things with this one. We have one part that's kind of confirmed, and one part that's rumored right now. So, for Jon Favreau, the series is set 3 years after Return of the Jedi. So we know that that's confirmed. The thing that's not confirmed at the moment, which I've actually seen this quite a bit around, is it's supposed to be like set in Mandalore. So it's like is it the heist? What is it?
So it's supposed to follow the fall of the Empire. So 3 years after Return of the Jedi, everybody's still... Because, I mean, the Empire had its hands in everything.
Well, so yeah, of course they did.
A major system crumbling. And so it's supposed to, from what I've gathered from all the stuff that I've read, rumored-wise, it's supposed to be about the fall of Mandalore and how that affects the galaxy overall. The destabilization of Mandalore, and basically restoring Mandalore to its true glory, and kind of stuff like that.
Okay. But isn't there like a certain word that was used for that time in Mandalore? Because in it thought that if his is set in Mandalore somehow, we'll get like with Clone Wars and this one coming out, they'll kind of intersect in a way.
These won't be able to intersect with Clone Wars, because Clone Wars is going to be pre A New Hope. So this is going to be after Return of the Jedi.
Siege. That's what
Siege of Mandalore. Okay, yeah. So
that's what I was going for.
The Siege of Mandalore is a different thing altogether.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Siege of Mandalore is going to be with the Clone Wars.
Well, yeah,
the Clone Wars cartoon.
I don't know why I thought this was... I thought I had read where they were saying that they were going to...
I mean, it's possible that said siege could last longer than we would think. They wouldn't intersect, though, because, I mean, that's going to be years and years. Because with where the Siege of Mandalore would be, it would technically be almost 20 years before A New Hope.
Oh.
Yeah. So there, that wouldn't work, but the effects of Siege of Mandalore could still be felt in Mandalore, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my bad. I just got that all mixed up. Mandalore. Okay. There's a lot of Mandalore stuff out there at the moment.
Yes.
And I just can't keep up with all of it. I'm not really in the rumor mill as much as you are, I feel like. Well, other than like maybe 20 minutes ago when I was literally digging
down the rabbit hole.
It was interesting. I will send you the link if you want it.
But I'm really excited to see more Mandalore. Because we've gotten a lot of it in Clone Wars and Rebels and everything, and that's about where that ends.
Right.
So it'll be really cool to actually see a full-on like live action Mandalore. Because I love the Mandalorians, like everything about them. Their armor's really cool. Their culture, their inner fight to deny who they are and everything. Because even though like they were warriors and everything, and they kind of caused what was on their planet to become a waste because of the war that they just believed in, they were warriors and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's still interesting to see if they ever find that balance. You know, instead of fighting each other to the death, oh, do we deny who we are? Do we embrace it? Do we evolve?
Right. I don't know. I think we're gonna get some killer episodes, though.
Oh, absolutely.
They got a pretty big budget.
Oh yeah, what's that budget?
100 million.
Jeez.
That's for 10 episodes, so it would be 10 million an episode essentially, which is up there with like Game of Thrones and what was the other one?
I know Game of Thrones was the one that's been thrown around a lot that I've seen in the articles.
Star Trek.
Star Trek?
Yeah.
Oh, the Star Trek Discovery?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dang. I didn't know they had that big of a budget.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen any of the episodes, so I don't know.
No, I haven't either, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. I could be wrong, but it was
I think you're right. I remember hearing that at one point, yeah.
Yeah, it was comparing it to Star Trek, and theirs were about 8 million an episode.
Wow. Okay.
So
I'm expecting some cool fights then.
So if y'all thought by not going to Solo you were going to bankrupt Disney, joke's on you. They got 100 million to throw at a series, a 10 episode series. Joke's on you, fool. Joke's on you.
You're not salty about that at all, are you?
I'm still not. Can't you tell?
Oh my goodness.
Completely fine. I'm so over it. I'm so over it.
But I'm really excited about this, though. Especially Jon Favreau, because, I mean, he's the man who helped launch the MCU. Like...
I'm really excited. This guy's he's obviously got a lot of great ideas. He's got a lot of stuff going for him, which it's so funny, too, because, like, when I think of him, all I can think about is Happy.
Oh, yeah, Happy Hogan, yeah.
Yes, from Iron Man. That's, like, what I knew him from. Like, I had no idea even then that he had anything to do with directing and stuff like that. Because didn't he actually direct Iron Man 3 or 2?
Iron Man, the first one.
Oh, I didn't realize he did all of them. See,
he and Robert Downey Jr. were the ones that launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I did not know that. See,
I didn't find that out actually till probably just a few years ago too.
I did not know
when
that.
I started getting into finding out about the directors and stuff like that. But yeah.
I knew he kind of been trickling his way in there, and I'm sure he's been in a lot more that I just never realized. But...
Well, he did Jungle Book as well.
Yes, well, I knew that one.
Yeah.
I knew that. That's like the big thing that I remember, like, you know, I knew he was in Iron Man. I knew he did some directing in there, possibly some writing or screenplay, or, you know, whatever he did in there. And then I know, I knew Jungle Book, and now he's doing, is he doing The Lion King?
I think so.
I want to say he is, but I don't want to, like, diss somebody else that's doing it. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's Beckett. I mean, I'm just kidding, but
Beckett.
Yeah, you know Beckett's back from the dead.
Oh, okay, got it.
He needs some good old fashioned revenge.
He learned how to play the Valachor.
Exactly.
Now he's writing symphonies for the Lion King.
Circle of life. Oh, that's not the. But I don't know. I think he has something to do with it, at least. I know... Oh, wait, it's confirmed. He is directing it.
There you go.
Sorry. It's going to bother me until I checked. But, yeah, so I guess that confirms our, rumors. Rumors.
The official theme song. Trademarked.
I'll think of something better.
I've got a bad feeling about it.
Quiet.
What?
Yeah, I think that's all of our rumors for this week. There are so many more.
Oh, there's so many more. I mean, you know, so here, I'm going to say this real quick, Danny, and you can just take this for what it is, or you can just, I don't care, really. I don't really care. So, I'm not going to lie. I'm jumped into the rumor mill, y'all.
Oh, no.
And I'm kind of interested. So, I guess you just need to let us know if you're interested in a rumor episode. Because I'd totally be down to do one. Or maybe even like a rumor live on Instagram or something.
Okay.
But that's only if you guys want it. I know a lot of guys don't like spoilers or even want to dive into the rumors because, you know, you kind of want to go into the theater not with no like pre-notions, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess just let us know what you guys want. Does that sound good?
I think that's fair because you took the blue pill and fell down the rabbit hole and all that kind of stuff.
I don't mind it. So here's the thing. Yeah. I don't mind it because...
I absolutely mind it.
So I don't because either way...
To an extent. I'll say that. To an extent. It's just that when it's rumors, like it makes me nervous the possibility of finding out something that actually might happen. And I'm not that one that sees it and is like, oh, I knew that. I go, oh man, I wish that would have been a surprise or something like that. So I don't know.
I guess I just don't get into movies enough for that to matter for me. Because even, you know, when you watched Avengers without me, I was like, go ahead and tell me the ending. And you were like, I can't. I just can't. And I was like, no, just for real.
It was
like,
a violation of our marriage.
No, it wasn't. I
could have spoiled Infinity War for you.
I was so prepared for you to tell me, and I was still going to go with you the next day to watch that movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I just don't really... I mean, I love it, and I'm going to be... You know, obviously it's going to excite me or disappoint me in some form or fashion, but it's not going to be, like, because of a spoiler, I feel like. Like, I'm not going to be that person, too, that's going to be like, knew it! Knew it! I read that on that website. Like, I don't really care. Like, I honestly...
I'm a Reddit warrior.
Right. I mean, I'll probably just be like, I think I knew something about this, but I don't really remember. And it's probably mostly because I have the memory of a goldfish. But it's fine. So.
Well, cool. So, yeah, guys, let us know if you want a completely rumor-filled episode. Kristen will happily oblige.
I will. But that's only if you guys want it, like I said. Or if we get majority, no. But there's still that like one person out there that wants some rumors. Just get with me. We will hang out and we will talk rumors. I'm so serious. Like, I like all the rumors. They're fun.
So cool. So with that being all of our rumors for the week, are you ready to get into our main conspiracy? Our main topic?
Rumors. Yes, I am actually.
So this week we are talking the conspiracy of Order 66.
Jedi. Good soldiers follow orders.
Hey, Top!
On your right!
Top, now!
Sister!
Execute Order 66.
Your Palpatine's getting better, I think. Maybe.
I feel like that was a little too deep. I don't feel like I
think
had
that was like Palpatine with a cold? No.
Maybe. Maybe.
So this week we're talking the Clone Wars episode arc from the Lost Missions.
Yes. Season 6, episode 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Which I felt like they missed an opportunity there. I mean, come on, guys. It's Order 66. Why didn't you make that, like, why didn't you start that arc or, like, make sure whatever it was that happened on episode 6 with season 6. Like, come on, y'all.
Womp, womp, womp.
Come on, Star Wars. You failed me. But it's okay.
So first off, with this arc, what did you think of it? Because I think this is the first time you've seen this arc.
No.
It's not?
It's
Okay.
not. It's the first time I've really paid attention to this arc. If we're being more honest. You know, I had previously seen the movies and most of the shows because I remember you watching them, you binge watching them, and I had nothing better to do, so I watched it with you. And I'm not gonna lie, I did like it. I think that's honestly what's got me more into it. Is just kind of having to watch stuff with you, like Rebels and Clone Wars. I'm like, oh, this is really good. Like, I want to watch this.
See, that's something that I noticed with you is that I can't ever like have you watch something or tell you should watch something. It's just maybe you'll creep around the corner and something will catch your eye. Because that happened to you with Revenge of the Sith at my parents' house the first time you
I
ever
was
watched.
like on my phone and
Yeah.
like a cool part came on and I was like, ooh.
And then you were like sucked in and then it was there forever.
Yes. Yes, that's true. So, I mean, I've seen this. Like I said, I probably wasn't as invested in it as I was now because I have so much more information under my belt about this. But these 4 episodes are crazy packed.
Oh, absolutely.
Just wow.
It
really
felt like it could have been an entire season.
Right.
The way that the story was
It
going.
could
with
have.
It. Yeah.
It could have. You know, I'm feeling a little heartbroken.
Why is that?
People die, Danny.
I know, we're in the business of soul-crushing episodes now.
Well, people die.
I think our last 3 episodes have been soul-crushing.
Yes. But it's okay. But it makes me sad. Like, it's really good, though. It's a good little arc. And, I mean, this is what makes me think, too. You know how most of the episodes we kind of talk about how we feel like everything is in Palpatine's favor, and like it's like he has this way of controlling the Force to make everything go the way he wants to. And this is what I started thinking about, as we watched this arc. I was like, dang, he does have bad things happen to him. Like,
it's the first time that we see him scurry
like
to
karma,
cover up something. Yeah,
karma. Like, yes, exactly. He was like trying to cover something up,
trying to get ahead of it, and when he was like, oh god, they're
right.
gonna find out.
And I feel like that's the first time, maybe it's just the first time I've noticed, really and truly, because I'm sure there's something else in there that
I mean, as far as I can tell, because I mean, I've seen the Clone Wars, and I mean, I'm not going to claim to remember every single episode, but in my memory, I think this is the only time we see him kind of clamoring for that power, because it's where he's dangerously at the point where it's like, oh god, everything's about to crumble.
Right.
And you see the fear in his face. Like, he ain't playing. He's like, I need you to send me that sample, and we need to get it to my people, because you're not going to investigate it.
Right, which he still does a really freaking good job of, too, because he's just like, she's like, well, I'm going to take it to the Jedi Temple. And he's like, oh, but I have a better idea. Let's send it here, and we'll give it to our top scientist. And it's like, oh, okay, Chancellor.
That's the thing that bothered me, is like, because it was almost like someone, I mean, he was caught in a lie, basically. Like, his plan was the jig was almost up. Like, he almost lost everything, and it almost got traced back to him, all that kind of stuff. And like, it was just, I don't understand how Shakti was just kind of like, okay, which I mean, I guess technically she wasn't, because even though the Chancellor was like, yeah, bring it back to my people and everything, she was still like, hey, yeah, so we're totally taking it to the temple first. And what was it? It wasn't Lama Su, it was something Say. I can't remember. But whoever the doctor was presiding over this whole thing, it was in and on it.
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Something Say is all I can remember. I don't know. Because Lama Su is the prime minister.
Which was the other main long neck that had like the fin on her head or something.
Yeah.
Or him. I don't even know what it was.
Him,
a guy or a girl. Was it a guy?
It was a guy.
Oh my god.
It was a male Kaminoan.
I did not know that. I had no idea. I thought they were both females the entire time. My bad. But yeah. I mean, so that's the thing that bothered me, and it was kind of funny to me too. There was like a war within the clones, more so because like she kept being like, but they're Kaminoan. They're Kaminoan. They're Kaminoan.
Hey!
Property. Do not put all those in there. I'm not repeating that again. Y'all can just guess what I'm saying now. But they're all property, says the long necks.
Yeah.
And then Shakti was like, but they're Republic
Republic property.
Yeah, so it was like but they're people, like.
Yeah, she's like, we respect you as a client, but still.
Right, like as a
Shakti
client.
wasn't having it.
No, she wasn't, which I'm kind of glad, but then at the end she kind of made me mad because, I don't know, I felt like she still was like, I don't know, like thinking, oh, maybe he really did just snap because of his chip, like maybe, I don't know, like da-da-da-da, which I mean, from an outside point of view, you're like, oh my god, we know what's happening, we've seen all the movies, but as an insider that only has the information that's right in front of you, I can see how that could be your best explanation, really and truly.
Well, see, from that point of view, I guess, I don't know, I feel like there should have been more benefit of the doubt. Because even when Anakin goes to meet Fives, and Fives seemingly looks like he's lost his mind, and he's all coked up on conspiracy and everything, like, even Anakin's like, okay, yeah, dude, totally come with us.
The Chancellor's not capable of doing that.
Which he finds out very shortly.
Right.
When the Chancellor goes, hey, it's me. But I mean, like, I would have ray shielded his butt too. Like,
right.
I don't trust either one of you. I can tell that neither one of you trust me. And the Kaminoan doctor, like, she was with it. She knew what was going to happen. She put that sedative in him or whatever, or psychotropic whatever, and it increased him. Like, it was one fail safe after another put in place, because she was like, oh, I know that that Palpatine's going to do this, and now I know that if he's drugged or whatever, then we can explain it this way, and we can explain it this way, just like how she was trying to explain away the chips. Oh no, they're to keep you from being aggressive. Look how aggressive you've become because you've removed it. I wanted to be like,
Fives has always been like that. Chip or no chip.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that was the thing. It became an impossible situation.
Right.
It's almost like somebody's getting mad at you, and then you retaliate. Oh no, look how aggressive you've become.
Right.
I don't understand why you're so upset. Like, it frustrated
me. It's like
me.
you poked the bear and wonder why it started growling at you.
Right.
And it's like, dude, I don't know what I did, but that bear just got really mad and got up really fast at me all of a sudden, like it was
like that would have made me feel crazy too. It's like, what are you talking about? You were here. Why are you acting like this?
Right. New theory.
Okay.
Theory time. No, I'm just kidding. This really is truly not a theory at all. It's just a thought that I had, and I just want to share it with y'all. So, you know, in Revenge of the Sith, we got that weird scene where Anakin and Padme were staring out the windows. Mm-hmm. What if Anakin was like, dang, Fives is right. And that's why he was crying. Because at that point, he realized that Palpatine, even though he didn't really know about Order 66, he realized that Palpatine was capable of more than he thought. So what if he was crying because he was like, dang, man, Fives is right the whole time, and I just let him die.
He wasn't thinking about Padme. He's like, I miss Fives. Oh my gosh. Only you.
I know. That's why I said it's not really a theory, but it just popped in my head and I thought I'd like to share it. So but yeah, y'all, he was totally crying over Fives.
I feel like we got another meme coming our way, but
I love memes.
But I mean, as far as so even tracking back to how it all begins and everything.
Right.
Like, so we see in Revenge of the Sith where when Order 66 is executed, like, we see them just, as you wish, or whatever they say, yes, sir, to Palpatine. They turn around and immediately start firing on the Jedi. I thought it was kind of cool with Tup. When when the good soldiers follow orders over and over again and everything, and it's just like, what the heck? Like, especially when, like, you could tell, like, he was just broken. His eyes were going every which way and everything. It was just like, oh, geez.
Well, because, too, I think, it was a chip malfunction. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like somebody really flipped the switch necessarily. It's like, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain it, but I can kind of think about it in my head better. I know it sounds really stupid, but I mean, I don't know. It's like, so to me, when I'm thinking about it, it's like, because the chip malfunctioned and it technically tore up, whatever, it's like he was having an inner battle. Like, he was trying to fight the Order 66 because it wasn't technically, like, released like it should have been. Like, it wasn't like a bam, switch turned, like, this is who you are now. It was like he was still there. And that's why he kept jumping back and forth with it.
I can see that. Because I mean, he had no memory of anything that he did, which makes me wonder, too. So, during Order 66, I wonder how many of them actually remembered what they did. Because, and it may just be Tup's malfunction that he didn't remember.
Right.
But, I mean, how awful would that be? So, like, one that keeps coming up on our socials and online and everything is Cody. He tried to kill Obi-Wan and everything. So what if Cody remembers trying to do that and is like, oh my God, why have I done that? Or when the switch was flipped, did they change completely?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, like, Jedi were it. Because, I mean, in the Darth Vader comics, I think it's like, I want to say it's like the second or third comic. I can't remember, second or third issue, where Vader goes to this outpost where they're collecting Jedi artifacts and things like that. And one of them actually, like one of the clones are talking about, he's like, hey, look, I'm a Jedi. And he's playing with a lightsaber. And he's like, no, if you were a Jedi, you'd be dead. Like, they're still talking about it. So, I mean, like, I get that it's fresh, but, like, I don't know. I wonder if it changed the clones completely and permanently.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that, too, because we know Rex removed his. Mm-hmm. But what about the other people we see in Rebels?
Wolf and Gregor?
Right.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Did they get theirs removed, like, you know, maybe Rex found them later and was like, hey, we have to remove your chip, and it was kind of like a forcible thing. Mm-hmm. And they were like, we're getting the chip out, you know, or maybe it's something that, like, after a certain while, it just didn't matter, like, after a so many year span or something, or, you know what I mean? Because obviously clones aren't in the war anymore. Like, clones aren't a thing.
They're phased out.
Right.
Yeah. Because
we just kidnap
in that
children
same
now.
comic, in that same issue, it talks about how they're shutting down the factories on Camino.
Right.
And they're training up the last batch, and that's it.
Oh, you missed my...
Oh, did I miss your pun?
Oh, no, I just said we're kidnapping children now.
Oh. I did miss that.
Yeah. It's fine.
That's a good old Hux's idea. Kylo's all for the clones.
Right. I mean... a little bit more controllable, I feel like, in a way.
Well, yeah. You tell them Order 66 and they flip.
Well, not just that, but I mean, even like throughout Clone Wars we watched where, I mean, they all have different personalities, and I forget which episode it was. I almost want to say it was, I don't know which episode it was in, or even what season, honestly, because I know we're kind of piling through. I'd say 4 or 5, but I don't feel like we're that far into 5 yet. If we are even in 5.
I think we're probably about 4 episodes into 5, something like that.
Well, essentially the one where Anakin was called back to Coruscant, because Palpatine asked him to come back, and scary big old Krell took over.
Oh, yes.
Because remember, he made a statement to somebody saying that the Jedi have given, I think it was him that said the Jedi had given the clones a creative way of thinking.
Yes.
Or something.
Yeah.
And that's why he was so
Inspired
weird.
them to think creatively.
Right.
Something like
and,
that, yeah.
And that's why, like, that squadron, the 501st, was kind of like, not like out there necessarily or anything, but they were just different. Like, they weren't
so by the book.
Right.
Yeah.
They were willing to do different things, and all he wanted to do was push forward into battle. Like,
he just wanted them as pawns.
Well, yeah, technically, but
like, let's see how many I can kill, and when I run out of men, oh well.
Right. I'll just go there and take care of it myself anyway.
Right.
Like,
Which was frustrating. Side note, I know this isn't the art that we're talking about, which was very frustrating though. Krell, when he whips out his 2 double-bladed lightsabers, like freaking Grievous helicopter style, he could have taken out all the droids, but he's sending in clones as cannon fodder. Anyways, that's a
right.
small rant. We'll get to that arc.
We'll get there. We'll do like a Clone War arc. It's fine.
Because that one angered me, and I liked how it affected you as well.
Oh, yeah. It definitely angered me.
Yeah. But anyways, back to 5s. But yeah, so what did you think of when Tup killed Jedi Master Tiplar?
Well, that was really sad, obviously, because, I mean, he didn't want to do it, but at the same time, like I said, it was that inner battle with that chip.
Yeah.
That was kind of making him do it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
I just thought it was crazy getting to see, like, how, like, crazed out he was. Because, like, did you notice when they were, like, kind of, like, waving their hand in front of him and everything, he was seeing through there, and he was just locked into Tip Lee and everything the whole time.
That's exactly what Order 66 was for them. It was a straight, like, this is your focus. Like, this is your orders. And so that's all they were focusing on.
Yeah.
Good soldiers follow orders.
It's so sad.
It is.
Like, it's just so sad.
The whole premises behind it is sad. I mean, they essentially raised these people that are all the same in order to follow orders and to be, like, submissives, essentially.
Well, and that's the thing, is that they grow up to become their own individual. Because even though they raised them all to be the same and trained them all the same, all that kind of stuff, they took on their own personalities.
They did, but I feel like a lot of them may not have if they weren't under certain like Jedi or something. You know what I mean? That's what I'm starting to wonder.
So you feel like the Jedi were the one that caused it? Well, as far as caused them to develop their own personality and give them their own individualism.
I mean, in a sense, maybe not necessarily like personality-wise, but definitely I think the way they approach battle and stuff.
Okay,
more so,
I can see that.
Just because, like, they got really creative, especially in Clone Wars arc, you know, once they're with Anakin. The 501st more so, because I think that's the only one we really focus on. That, with that one, they're really creative on how they come up with ways to get around things. So instead of just wanting to run into battle, like
instead
they're
of
like,
running the simulations in their head and doing what they were taught, they're thinking outside of the box.
Right. So I mean, I'm not saying like their personality contributes to that, but look, I don't know. Like I feel like battle scenario wise, it does. But I mean, of course, they're gonna have their own little personalities and stuff. Like I don't feel like you can make that.
Yeah. Well, and I would agree with that, though. And that's the thing, is I think that the Jedi encouraged it.
Right.
The personalities and everything, because of the way the Jedi are and the teachings and stuff like that. I think that that's something that just inherently rubbed off on the clones.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, naturally they're going to grow into their own personalities, but I feel like that does have to be cultivated. And I think that the Jedi, being the generals, cultivated that. It's like, okay, cool, I'm your leader, but I'm not always going to call the shots. I want you to do it.
Right.
So what would you do, commander, captain, whoever?
Right.
And everything. And I think they inspired that in them, which makes Order 66 so much more heartbreaking, is because the second that order is issued, all of that's out the window.
Right. Like
it's like it flips a switch and they're done. That's it. Now you are hunting Jedi. That's it. That is your sole purpose.
Right.
Which is just, it's horrible. It's heartbreaking.
Right. It is.
Mm-hmm. But on the other side of that too, with Palpatine, it's scary genius.
It is, and I think that's why he was in such panic too. Because I mean, this was the main thing. This was the
thing.
Right.
That was gonna,
This is what was gonna turn everything around essentially for him, and so
which,
I mean, he couldn't let it fall apart.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, so strategically wise, he surrounded the Jedi with enemies that they didn't know were enemies.
Right.
Put them in the center of a sea of troops to command, quote, and flip the switch, and it's just like, there it is. They all turned on him and everything. So it's almost like he put every single one of them into this tank with a bunch of troopers, and it was like, and piranha.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
So it's just like, I don't know, it's scary good.
It is. It is. It's almost too good. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know. It's intense, I guess.
It's absolutely intense. So what do you think Palpatine said to Fives in the chamber when they were alone?
I don't know, because I remember, I think I had to pause it.
Fives lost his mind. Yeah.
He did. And I kind of had to pause it because I'm starting thinking, okay, this dude's got clones for guards. Like, how would they not overhear this or hear this and just be like, oh, it's okay, like, this dude's just crazy. So, I mean, I know we kind of thought maybe he just leaned into him and told him in his ear, which is a possibility. Maybe he did. Maybe that's why he was so close to Palpatine. It was able to kind of, like, push him. You know what I mean? Because obviously if they were standing, like, a distance from each other, like, it wouldn't have been an easy, like, huh, you know what I mean? So I think he did. I think he leaned in his ear. But I think he essentially was like, you're right, and I'm going to use you to kill the Jedi. Or something like that. Yeah. Like, you're absolutely right. And
I hated when like, the transition for Shaak Ti and the Kaminoan Doctor coming out of there and everything. I hated that transition where he's like, now, where were we?
Right.
It's just like, oh, God, no! And then on top of that, this is Tim Curry as Palpatine now, which is creepier to me. Like,
just a little bit, I guess.
I mean, it's it as Palpatine.
So?
It's horrifying.
He's also a transvestite. I'm a sweet transvestite. Black and white picture, guys. I swear, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, I mean, as far as that, like, I don't feel like he told him the plot, but I agree with you.
I think he was like, "You're right."
Just what he knew. It's like, you know what? You're right. This is what these chips are for. And one day, you'll all kill the Jedi.
Right.
And there's this. And just enough to tell him, because he was talking about how the Jedi are in danger, there's a plot to kill the Jedi, it comes all the way from the top, and all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
But, like, they played into all of it and made him look like the crazy one, which boiled my blood, because it was just like, I mean, even though we knew the truth, Fives looked crazy.
He did.
Looked like he lost his mind, and he sounded like Tinfoil Hat.
No, he did, yeah.
The lizard people are taking over.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah. No, you're right, it did. He definitely sounded crazy. It and the thing is, too, that kind of bothered me. Well, I mean, I guess it really didn't bother me, but I was like, stop it, lady. And she was, the whole time she was making it like it was a virus, and that without his chip, like, he could just do, like, these unforeseen things and say unforeseen things because he no longer had his chip to control him, essentially.
Yeah.
So she almost made it sound like he was uncontrollable.
Because he took out his
right.
chip.
So then everyone's there thinking, oh my God, it's because of the chip. Like, that's why he's losing it. He's just losing it in a different way. Like, that's why, they're like, Tubbs snapped and just killed her, but they weren't thinking like, oh, he was focused on the Jedi for some reason. They were thinking he just killed someone. And
he snapped on his general.
Right, essentially. And so then, when it came to Fives, they were just like, okay, like, he doesn't have his chip, like, he's snapped. He's just doing it different than Tubbs did.
Yeah. It's wild seeing how Palpatine spins it.
Right.
And everything. Because it's like, all right, and I got you, Palpatine. You're stuck. We know what you're doing. And all of a sudden he turns it around, and now Fives looks like the crazy conspiracy theorist and everything. And now he's the psycho, and oh my gosh, he just tried to attack me. It's like,
right,
dude.
Yeah, I would try to attack you too, dude. You just told me that, like, everyone had a chip well, we knew everyone had a chip, but you just told me that, like, I was right, and these chips are going to be used to kill the Jedi, essentially, because we're going to turn on them. Yep. Like, of course. I'm going to try to kill you, fool. You're the one that thought of it all.
Right. So I know as of late in our prequel watch and everything that you've had a difficult relationship with the Jedi.
I have.
So how did you feel about the Jedi in this one?
So throughout the Clone Wars, I feel like the Jedi are really more I'm trying to think of the word I want. They're more productive, I guess.
Okay.
They seem to be more on top of what's going on. And, like, even in this little arc right here, Yoda was like, get to the truth, we must. Investigate on our own, we must. Secretly, undercover, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even, Shakti, she was even like, she didn't really care, like, if it was Palpatine or not. Like, she was still taking those chips to the Jedi.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's what they wanted. And I just feel like they're so much more aware. Or at least if they're not aware, they're going to find a way to be aware.
More
you know
inquisitive.
What I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me is, like, and that's the thing is, like, it's not like these are really a time difference, really and truly. This is supposed to be happening in between the movies. So it's like, how are we getting Clone Wars, who the Jedi seem like they're more knowledgeable and in tune, but then the movies, they're like just little lumps on a log. And they're just like, I don't know, like, I can't see anything with the Force right now, so I guess it's fine. Like, we'll just let everything play out. Oh, man.
Did you get a Force alert? I didn't get a Force alert.
I didn't either.
I think we're good.
Oh, wait, Palpatine's the Sith we've been looking for? Oh, snap. I missed it. Like, I'm just so bothered of how, like, unaware they are in the movies. And I know I expressed that, like, just by all the ones that had to do with, like, the Jedi and the Jedi Council, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I would agree with you there, and I think a lot of that comes from and it's something that of why I actually love the Clone Wars series is that it adds a lot of depth to the characters that weren't otherwise there in the movies.
I completely agree.
Yeah, because I mean, just look at Anakin alone. So I don't have a problem with Hayden Christensen's performance or anything like that. I'm not saying he was horrible as Anakin or anything. Cheesy at times, yes. But
whiny
an actor
times,
only,
yes.
Yeah, but an actor only has what he can go off of. Like,
right.
He reads the script, he does what he's told. That's it.
Right.
And so, I mean, it had nothing to do with Hayden. it was the character of Anakin as portrayed in the movies.
Right.
And that's the thing, is that we've got, now it'll be 7 seasons coming up of this, widening the story, deepening the story, whereas we had a little, like close to 2 hours in a movie.
Right.
Like, it's just not the same. You can't really tell the same kind of depth and story with what needed to explain everything that was going on.
Right.
And so I think that's why I love the Clone Wars series so much. It's just because that lore is expanded. The characters are deepened. What Matt Lanter did with Anakin is phenomenal.
Right.
He added a lot to it and everything, and kind of helped explain a lot of the stuff that just kind of was just brushed away in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Not intentionally brushed away, but there just wasn't time, you know?
Right. No, I agree. I really like Clone Wars too. You know, and I know we've gone back and watched it, and I almost honestly want to go back and watch it like again, just because now that I'm, you know, just I think I'm pretty much caught up on the movies, right?
You have one more. Or one more as far as the prequel and original trilogy.
Okay.
You've seen the sequel trilogy, so that's not something.
Yeah.
We still may revisit it, but that's not something that we're like, oh yeah, let's refresh on it. But you have one more original trilogy movie, Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Right. Yes.
And then you'll round out our makeshift machete order.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, like you said, like I think this is also why I appreciate Anakin so much. Like, and this is why I like the Anakin Vader storyline so much, is because, I mean, yeah, I like the movies too, and I like Anakin in the movies, and like you said, yes, it's not perfect, it's not amazing, yes, he's a little whiny, yes, it's a little cheesy, but give me a Star Wars movie that's not.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
It's part of the charm.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Luke was whiny. Han was cheesy.
Yep.
I mean, please. It's all a little cheesy and whiny in some aspect of it.
It's the charm of it.
It's
just like you have the certain look in the universe, and you know what looks like Star Wars and everything. The cheese is part of Star Wars,
right?
If if it takes itself too seriously, then it's not as fun,
right?
Even Rogue One had its moments where it was cheesy. K2SO was 90% of that cheese, and he was amazing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So I mean, even in a serious movie, which I would say Rogue One's probably the serious of the serious.
I mean, it is.
Yeah,
it's the one that like determined. Not everything, but kind of in a way, like
it kicked off the Galactic
Civil
War.
Yeah, we knew it had to happen, obviously.
Right.
So we knew the outcome of it, but just it's a super serious movie the whole time, and then the ending, oh man. But you're right, it's such a good movie though.
I mean, and that's the thing, is that there's moments of cheese and goofy stuff, like for instance, Cheer It, where they're all being taken away by the partisans, and they blindfold the blind guy.
Right.
It's like, are you kidding? I'm blind.
Right. Just in case.
Just like stuff like that. Like, if you didn't have that in a Star Wars movie and Star Wars took itself too seriously, it wouldn't be Star Wars.
Right.
And so I think that, I don't know, for me, and you and I are probably the cheesiest people on earth. Like, we love our cheese. So
you're right.
Star Wars isn't Star Wars without the Star Wars cheese.
You're right.
So, yeah.
You're right.
And I think that's a lot of why I love the prequels as well.
Yeah. You know, I like all of them, and I just, you know I've always said that Vader's my favorite character. Kind of going back to what I was saying before we got into the cheese, real good there.
We got a lot of side trails going tonight.
We do. Oops. But it just with Clone Wars, it just gives me like an extra outlook or in-look, I guess, too, on like what's happening and who Anakin is as a person and what he struggles with his battles, and I don't know. You
become more invested in it.
You do. And I mean, I'm invested in a lot of them too. Like, I like the clones a lot. Like, I really like a lot of the clones. Like, Rex, awesome. Like, I want like a Rex series. Like, is that possible? Can we have just a 501st?
Right. Just a 501st missions.
Right.
That would be cool.
Then I feel like Anakin had to be in it too, because
that's true.
I mean, but still. And I guess this technically is like a 501st missions, but it's just called Clone Wars. But it's fine. It's fine. I'll settle.
But yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and to your point with the whole love for Vader and everything, I really feel like your love for Vader was cemented when you saw the Mortis arc where he sees it all for the first time. Because I remember you like squealing the first time you saw that, where like the Vader helmet is in the clouds and stuff like that, and it's all crazy. Like that was the coolest moment watching Clone Wars with you, because you're just like, oh my god, I've got chills everywhere.
Yeah, I like the story. It's great.
Yeah,
makes me happy.
definitely. But yeah, no. In back to what we were saying, back on the trail, and I agree with you with the Jedi and everything. But in this, like, even though, like, I like the little glances that you get to see from Yoda every once in a while, because like Mace irritated me in this one too, because like at the very end, Palpatine's like, oh yeah, we found out what it was. You know how he was missing for X amount of rotations? It was a parasite that's native to that place that is extremely rare. So
rare?
Yeah, just so rare. And Macy's like, oh, well, that explains everything.
We've only seen it 1 out of 2 cases.
Right.
Tubs and 5s.
Yeah. And so it's just like, oh, well, that explains it.
Right.
Thanks, Palps.
Right.
Where Yoda's sitting next to him going, something don't feel right.
I think we can agree that Mace is just like, I'm sorry, like, I don't like your character. I don't like Mace. I think we agree Mace can just go fall in a hole. I mean, I guess he fell out of a window, but not soon enough.
Well, so so talking about Mace Windu, I think his character is important to the story to show the failings of the Jedi.
I mean, he is.
So it's not necessarily that his character is flawed per se, but he puts so much into, because you and I have talked about this, about how the fall of the Jedi, how their view was taken away from the spiritual side of the Force to the science of the Force, midichlorians, things like that, where they relied on that instead of the Force to actually guide them. They became blind to it, lost their way, and became extinct.
Right.
I think that Mace is like the embodiment of that cautionary tale. He's fully invested in the midichlorians, the science of the Force, how it works, all this other kind of stuff, and has lost his way from the spiritual side, and so he's completely blind. Like, if anybody is blind in this series, in these movies, it's Mace Windu.
Right.
Like, he just 110% is, yeah, totally Palpatine. I accept your explanation, even though it makes absolutely no sense.
I mean, I agree.
But I mean, he's the poster child for the failings of the Jedi.
I mean, he is.
The arrogance, the believing that we are above everything, the Jedi that lost their way.
Right.
So I think that his character is necessary in that way. He is not my favorite character by far.
No, I know.
But yeah.
Obviously not mine either. I just want to throw him in a hole. So. No, I agree. I mean,
stay over here.
I mean, he is just like any rough character throughout the series. You know, you're like, oh my god, why was that character even in here? Like, why do we even have to do that or see that? It's like it's relevant to the story in some form or fashion, or most of them are. I
feel like Mace Windu is the yes man, the one to go. Yeah. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do that.
No, I wouldn't even say that. Why would you even think that, though?
So the reason that I think that is, so not necessarily the yes man to say yes to everything, but the one who just kind of, he's your knee-jerk reactions. So back to the Ahsoka episode that we did.
So you're mostly saying he's easily persuaded.
Yes.
So he's not the yes man, because have you ever seen Yes Man?
I've seen Yes Man. He says yes to everything.
Literally. So I don't think you were on the right track there.
Easily persuaded. Thank you.
Okay. Because I mean, I get what you're saying. He doesn't think for himself. He's more of a follower, not a chief. Like, he would rather sway with where everyone else
even
is
though
going,
he likes to kind of puff up every once in a while.
I mean, yeah, of course he does. But I mean, like you were about to say with the whole Ahsoka trial, you know, we just talked about, like, even if he was, whether or not he was the first one to speak up or not, he's going to be the one that's hiding in the shadows following the rest of people. So everyone's like, yeah, we're going to just throw Ahsoka out. Like, even if he fully believed that Ahsoka could be innocent, you know, it doesn't matter either way, he was still going to be like, yeah, we're totally chunking her out.
He's at the front, he's going, burn her.
Right. Like, he's that guy that takes it like one step too far.
It's like, God, calm down. It's okay.
Nice. It's cool, man. We already agreed.
Be cool.
Better yet, should we just throw her off this planet?
Right. Ban her from Coruscant. Calm down.
Right. So he's just that guy. He's that guy that just jumps when everyone else says jump.
Yeah.
Or he says how high.
Well, I completely agree with that, because with his apology to Ahsoka, I feel like that's telling of where he stands with the council.
Right.
And the kind of person that he is. He's a selfish Jedi. Like, he's looking out for number one, and he's looking out for the council. What he thinks is looking out for the council.
Say. I think
what he thinks is best.
Right. That's what I was about to say. I think he's got this like thought in the back of his head of what he thinks is right for the council, and it's not. But he thinks it is, so he's going to do what he thinks is right.
Yeah. So yeah,
and he's just following his gut.
maybe.
Know what Obi-Wan says to Anakin or something like that? Like, you have to follow your gut or something like that? Am I making that up?
I think you're making that up.
No, I'm not. I'll look it up later. Just cut it out. It's fine. But yeah, he's definitely a no good.
So what did you feel about 5, or how did you feel about 5's final moments?
They were sad. And I don't really like this whole like nightmare thing that so far Tubbs and 5's have said as they died. Like, I don't like it. I don't like the whole like
mission's over, or the nightmares
have ended, or finally over, whatever. Like, good soldiers follow orders, like whatever it is.
Well, Waxer said it too in the Krell arc.
I was about to say, did I remember somebody saying about the nightmares are over? Oh my god, okay. I thought I was crazy.
Almost any, and I don't think it's 100% every time, but almost any time where we've had a moment where a clone has been with a clone as they're dying, that's something that's been said. I know Waxer said it in the Krell arc when we watched that recently, and Tup said it, and 5 said it as well.
Right.
So yeah,
I thought so. I was thinking, I was like, I feel like somebody else said this. I just couldn't really pinpoint. I couldn't remember exactly where I'd heard it or saw it or whatever.
Yeah. And it's sad because, like, I love the clones. Just like you said, you love the clones and everything. Like, I mean, in a lot of ways, they're more human than the humans. I mean,
in a way, yeah.
And it breaks my heart and knowing that they're played like that.
I don't even want to say they're more human. I almost want to say they're more pure. They're more genuine. Yeah. Like, they were all made the same, so they don't like. I don't know. I don't know. Like, their problems are not like what. I guess I don't want to make this like political, or not as necessarily political, but just like human-y, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the best word that I'm trying to use here, but they just don't deal with the problems that we deal with, like, even today. You know what I mean? Like, their thoughts and outlook on everything is just so much more like.
Well, and I feel like with the clones, like, you never see anything less than brotherhood. It's always brother.
There's a couple of them. There's a couple bad apples in there.
I mean, there are traitors.
There's Fox, and then there's what's his face?
Fox was following orders.
But what's the other guy from the Krell season or whatever?
Dogma.
Dogma, yeah.
He was following the rules as well.
Well, okay, you're right. He was.
There was a clone traitor at one point. There's only there has been one. I think they were working with Pinterest. I can't remember. It's one of the earlier arcs in like the first season or something like that.
But we've watched it, haven't we?
I think so. I don't know.
We're going back and watching.
We'll go back and watch it. But yeah, there has been at least one traitor I know of. But yeah, Dogma was following orders, as well as Fox. So even though we all hate him because he killed Fives, Fives did pull a gun on him.
He did. That too. He did. You know, that's why he was like, "No, don't do it. Drop it." You know, like he tried to warn him.
And Five said no.
I mean, it's the same. I feel like it's the same as if you're trying to defend your own life. Like if you're telling them to drop it. And
it's a
and at that point,
area.
It is. And at that point, they thought he was crazy. They thought he was losing it. So who's to know what he would have done? Mm-hmm. You know, and even though we know his intentions and he wasn't really wanting to shoot anybody, he just didn't want to be taken because he knew what was going to happen to him.
Tune in next week for the defense of Fox. No.
All right. Guilty.
But yeah, so I think that's something that's special with the clones and that I love is just that it's almost like an eternal brotherhood.
It is.
Like they're one big family and they all know it even though they may have never even met each other. Like, you have my face.
Right.
And I don't know. It's cool, weird, but cool.
No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, that's because they were made that way. They were made to fight for something that they truly believe in. And, you know, like you said, it could be someone that they don't even know. I mean, obviously it's going to be a clone, but you know what I mean? Like, they would still give the shot their back, or they would go out of their way to help, you know, that clone or whoever it is, because that's just what they believe. And it's like, you wouldn't do that for another human being, though. You know what I mean? Like,
well, now to get
not
even
saying
more,
them, but
now
I'm
to
just
get
saying,
even
like,
more heartbreaking, is it the programming or is it true heart?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd like to say it's the programming, but it may not be.
Yeah. You're right.
It
You're right.
may just be the way of life for them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they are essentially their own race.
They are, and we have
their own race of Jengos.
We have the good that walk among us, and we have the wicked that walk among us. So you just don't know.
Look at you getting all philosophical.
Hey, that's kind of what I was trying to get a minute ago, and I was trying not to make it too like, but this is just the way that I think it should be, or whatever. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Cool. So, did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about the Order 66 arc or anything?
I don't think so. It was crazy.
Yes.
If you haven't watched it, don't know why you haven't. I'm not sure why you're even still listening to this if you haven't watched it, but it's fine.
All are welcome.
Right. Well, I mean, I definitely recommend you go back and watch it.
Absolutely.
It's a really cool arc. I really enjoy it. It just kind of goes to show that Palpatine's plan wasn't as perfect as he thought it was. I mean, it's sucky that it still worked out, but
well, in not even the perfection of it, I think it's never shown as fragile as it was in that moment.
Right. Like there was
literally
never been
one clone almost took it all down and blew it wide open.
One clone and IZ or AZ.
AZ3. Oh, yeah.
One thing, I love subtitles, y'all, so I gotta point this out. Did you notice that every now and then it said literally just the letter A and Z?
Yeah.
But then sometimes it would say AZI.
Yeah.
I was really confused by that, and I wish it would have stopped. It didn't like, the thing was, if it would have done AZ the first time and then went the rest of the time with AZI, it'd been fine. But it did AZ like 2 times and then it did AZI like 2 times. And I was like, which is it?
the subtitles weren't intuitive enough.
I guess not. And I was just like, stop it.
Yeah.
I was so bothered by it. I was like, can we just pick one or the other? Like,
AZ was great. I loved the moment where he was like, oh, I wanted human emotions, but I don't have them. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, that was really funny. He kind of reminded me a little bit of K2.
Yeah.
Just kind of how. I mean,
I wanted to be a real boy, but I'm not.
Right.
Okay, bye.
He told me I had to.
Yeah. But yeah, no, AZ was cool.
Yeah. I just was really bothered by that name. I'm sorry. But yes, I liked AZ a lot. And it was crazy how like him, AZ and Fies essentially like took out the whole.
Almost blew it wide open.
Completely almost messed up Order 66 for Palpatine.
Yep. Which would have sent everything he had been working for crumbling.
Ooh.
Because then it wouldn't be the Jedi surrounded by their enemies. It would be Palpatine singularly surrounded by all of the things that he's created.
Honestly, I think that if it would have been discovered, I think he just would have went on with it. Execute Order 66. We're not really ready, but...
Oh, yeah, just go ahead and just like, hey, flip the switch, man.
I mean, might as well. I mean, because if you wait and you're like, if you try to own up to it, or if you try to play it as like oh, maybe it is a virus, or, that's what it is, but maybe it has this weird malfunction that we didn't know about, whatever, like, and they're going to be like, okay, well, we need to get all these out. So that would completely ruin everything for him anyway. So you might as well just go ahead and jump into it and be like, well, let's go ahead and just execute this, and we'll just pick up the pieces wherever it lands.
Well, in the Vader series, the comics that are going on right now with Marvel, it is shown that anyone can execute Order 66. And they'll listen. So it could have been triggered by Dooku or anybody else if it had happened. So yeah, it just may have just thrown everything into chaos right off, and it wouldn't have been as clean, I guess.
No, it wouldn't have, because it wouldn't have been as, like, planted, I guess. But, I mean, in my opinion, like, if that were my plan, like, that I just would have...
Yeah. At that point, it's like, well, there's no saving face. Execute Order 66, gentlemen.
Right. Go ahead and just play this. Because, I mean, like I said, if you wait, they would have just taken all the chips out. And they would have been all for nothing.
Yep. You're right.
So.
That would have been a much... I can't imagine a bloodier war, but it would have been a lot messier.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but
yeah.
Yeah,
cool,
you got any last thoughts, Danny?
No, I think that's all of mine.
Okay. Well, you asked me a lot of questions. I feel like I didn't ask you any, but you've seen these arcs a lot.
I have.
So more so we're watching it together and you're interviewing me. So this really should be called, like, Interviews with Kristen.
Yes. Kristen Talk with Kristen.
I like that.
Oh,
had a nice ring to it.
Oh, okay.
Guys,
are we renaming the show now?
Yeah, guys, just put your vote in and just let Danny know that we want to hear Kristen Talk with Kristen every Wednesday
Nice.
They'll vote for me. Just wait.
I'm being cut out.
They'll vote for me. Just wait.
We know who the true talent is here. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Kessel Run Weekly. As always, if you're not already following us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, you can find us at Kessel Run Weekly, or on our website, find all the things, KesselRunWeekly.com. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes if you are not already, and leave us a review. Let us know what you thought of the episode and whatnot. And yeah, because we appreciate all the things.
We do. Yeah, don't forget to send us some ideas, or let us know what you want to hear, what you want to see.
Your favorite things, your least favorite things, all that kind of stuff.
All of it. We like all of it.
We do.
So, but yeah, don't forget that if you want some spoilery-ish rumors, possibly spoiler. We're not going to say spoilery because they may not even be true, but with rumors, you just don't know. So you're still playing a crazy card game there. So just let us know if that's something you want. Like I said, that'll be on Kristen Talk with Kristen, right? Yeah, featuring
Kristen
and Danny
in like small letters,
right? Very tiny letters. So what does that even say? Oh, it says Danny. Okay.
Man, I'm being cut out of my own show.
Thought it was our show, honey.
Yeah, that. So anyways, thank you for listening to Kessel Run Weekly again. And until next week, guys, my name is Danny.
And I'm Kristen.
And may the force be with you.
Always. Kristen Talk with Kristen.